Hi, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be another 2 looks 1 palette. This is coming very late. I try to do these once a month and I missed mine for September, but I still want to do one, so you'll just get 2 in October. And this time it's my Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I originally was going to I can't even remember basic words. I was originally going to use my Naked Heat because I was, planning on filming this when it was still very hot out. That obviously didn't happen. And I feel like now we're kind of transitioning into fall, even though it's still like in the 70s where I live. We're transitioning into those fall colors and I just feel like it's cooling down. Sorry, as I mentioned in a previous video, Roxy always likes to choose to use a litter box when I start filming, because I put a litter box in my bedroom just because my cats like it better that way, and she always likes to disturb the peace. But anyway, that is so awkward and TMI. I'm sorry. She's now resting at my feet. But I feel like the Naked Honey has a much better color story for like the beginning of fall, because it's like still kind of, yellow toned and almost summery, like the tail end of summer, but we still are going into those fall tones. Like, this is the color that I wish the leaves were right now. The leaves don't change where I live. But I actually am tomorrow, which is why I don't know if you can see in the background, I have my suitcase out. I have to pack right after this because I literally have not started packing, and I'm leaving tomorrow after work. But I'm also just starting with Milani eyeshadow primer as always. But tomorrow I'm going on a trip back to my hometown where the leaves definitely do change color. And I'm so excited. I'm going to a wedding. I just can't wait. Like, I really need a change of pace and a change of scenery. My life has been super crazy. I'm planning on doing, I don't know what Roxy's doing now, but I'm planning on doing a get ready with me soon. Once I'm back on track with my regular filming schedule, to tell you guys all about what's been happening in my life and why I've only uploaded 2 videos in the past month. Until then, just know it's been crazy and I need a little bit of break, and I need a little bit of my hometown and my family. Also, I'm kind of whispering because it's like 9 p.m. where I am. My bedtime is in an hour. Anyway, back into it. I'm actually going to set both eyelids with this shade here, which is called Sweet, and I'm just these are clean brushes, guys. I have been using the same brushes for, I'm not gonna say how long, but a very long time, but I didn't want to subject you to seeing that. So these are clean eyeshadow brushes. Both of these are from Ulta Beauty, but I'm gonna use Sweet to set both of my eyelids because that first shade, Flyby, not only is it a little bit too light for me, but it's not matte, so I don't want to use that. I had to learn that the hard way. Last year when I was doing No Pan Left Behind, I tried to use that shade to set my eyeshadow primer, and I realized it wasn't kind of just like dusting away into nothing as an eyeshadow primer setting shade, because it's like a satin, so, and it actually had some decent pigment to it. So see, that's why using your eyeshadow palettes is good. Like, using what you buy, then you actually get to know what you bought. I think I'm gonna swatch all of the metallic shades. I feel like sometimes seeing them swatched out on my hand, just, I don't know, it helps me see them in a bit of a different light, especially when it's against my skin tone. I can kind of see a little bit better, of course, like what it would look like on me. I actually think this shade right here, I don't know why I'm holding my hand like that, this shade here, which is the first shade in the palette called Amber, that actually looks kind of fun. And again, these don't have to look nice because I'm not going anywhere with this, and I truly mean that this time, because I'm about to go to bed after this. Well, I'm gonna pack first. I need to get on with the video, but it doesn't need to look good. So I'm gonna start with this one, and then I'll probably choose between these two. This one, which is I think called, yeah, it's called Queen, is my favorite metallic in the palette. It's just that grungy, earthy shade that I love. But then this one is also, there's Rosie. This one is also a nice neutral, but I don't know if it's too similar to Amber. Maybe I'll start with the shade Keeper, and I'm just gonna keep this on my right eye, or I'm gonna try. Sometimes I forget. Okay, this is building pretty decently. It wasn't that pigmented on, oops, maybe I went a bit too far. It wasn't that pigmented on like the first layer, but I can build it up. And even though I went a bit overboard by layering that second layer, the edges are blending out nicely, so that's really nice. Every time I use an Urban Decay palette, it always reminds me why, even though I feel like a lot of people think Urban Decay is overrated, and especially lately Urban Decay has been kind of overlooked the past year or so, I feel like it's actually, especially the past year, it's been an underrated brand, because I think people forgot like how good the formula is, similar to Morphe. And I know that's a controversial statement, and I'm just taking that shade on my lower lash line, but I feel like both of these formulas are kind of similar in the fact that they're very, very buildable and beginner friendly, which is why I really loved these two brands when I first started getting into makeup. They're just easy to use, and neither brand is the most innovative, but we don't always need that. Now I'm gonna use this lash shade Sting on my outer corner using this smaller brush that I used for my lower lash line. And I'm just gonna keep it in my outer corner and a tiny bit in my crease and just build that up a bit. But yeah, I think these shades are also very nice. Like, it just is what it is. Like, sometimes you have to like a palette for what it is and not like be looking for the most new, cutting edge, innovative stuff. Sometimes a good palette can just be a good palette. And then for my lower lash line, I don't want to go too dark, so I'm gonna use this shade Drip and just like tap once, and then put that on my outer corner of my lower lash line. Then of course I have to use my NYX glitter primer. Back when I first started wearing makeup, I would only, like, I didn't know about glitter primer at all, so I would just use a wet brush. And there's the mess on my nightstand as always, so I'm just gonna put Amber all over my lid. But now I will never ever use a wet brush for anything again. Glitter primer is just the way to go. But that is so pretty. That is such a pretty shade. I don't usually go for these like super kind of like brassy warm golds anymore. I used to, but they're still pretty and they're still fun. So this is the first, oh, that does not look good on camera. I'll definitely have to take a picture of my makeup after, but yeah, this is maybe in editing, like it'll mellow out a bit, but this is the first look. I think it's super pretty. For the second look, I'm going to start with the shade Hive and kind of just put it all over, just like the first eye. This was actually the first palette that I like remember really wanting. When I first started out with makeup, I was not really into eyeshadow at all. Like, I didn't care, not that I disliked eyeshadow, but I just kind of like, I felt like I could kind of take it or leave it. Like, the first palette that got me into eyeshadow was the, what is it? How am I blanking? This, I've had a rough week, guys. But it's the Sephora Dahlia palette. That was the first eyeshadow palette I ever bought. I remember the first time I saw it because, like, at that time, I actually did not care about eyeshadow. I really, it never crossed my mind. And then I remember seeing that palette as I was walking out of Sephora. I was with my mom. She was shopping the Sephora sale. I passed, why am I talking about a Sephora palette now? But anyway, I remember seeing that palette and that's what got me into eyeshadow. But this palette is the first eyeshadow palette that I ever like really kind of like wanted and wished for and was waiting to buy. Like I used to, back when I first started watching like panners and beauty YouTubers, and I'm just taking that shade Sting again and putting it on my outer corner. I used to watch Kyla Fish and I remember she had this palette, and that's the first time I ever really noticed this palette. Like I had seen it before, but because I wasn't into eyeshadow, it never really crossed my mind. And then I remember seeing her use this and I fell in love. Like I yearned for this palette for so long, probably like 6 months straight. And then finally during like, I think a Black Friday sale, I bought this with the Naked Heat palette. And I was so in love when I first got this. Whatever's left on my brush, I'm just gonna kind of like run on my lower lash line, but I'm not gonna add anything. And that blended out so beautifully. Those colors look so good together. In camera, it doesn't look good. But also this is kind of just a shadow. If you can see it when I'm like, after I've edited the video, that's a shadow that my eyes create because I have hooded eyes. So that's not the eyeshadow, but these two colors blended so well together. It looks seamless. Like you can't really tell where one ends and the other begins. So I just have really fond memories of this eyeshadow palette. I can't speak. I can't think. And I was using this palette before I was using eyeshadow primer. That's how long I've been using this. Now I'm using the shade Queen, which looks, I don't know, it looks deep in the pan, but not that deep on my finger. Oh yeah, that works. I'm just gonna put it all over. This shade actually looks fairly similar to, I actually have it right here. To me, it kind of reminds me of this shade from my Pat McGrath Little Quint that I'm panning right now. It's not the exact same, but I feel like they're pretty close, and as far as what I can see on my eye, they kind of give a little bit of the same vibe and the same color. Maybe I'll try putting a little bit of HBIC, which is this, nope, it's this shade here, on my inner corner. I don't know, it kind of looks a tad bit lighter. It was not lighter, but it does give a bit of a color gradient. So okay, now I'm gonna put on some eyeliner and mascara and be right back. Here are the final two looks with the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I just think this is so pretty. I don't even want to take my makeup off now. Like, and my wings, both of my eyeliner wings turned out perfectly. Why? I just love this palette so much. I love rediscovering old favorites. And I think this is discontinued. Like, I don't even think you can get this anymore, which is such a shame because I know people were kind of like over Urban Decay. And then they were trying to like maybe rebrand with those like small palettes with those like new color stories or something. I don't really know, but I feel like why? I don't want those. I want the originals. And once this finally like inevitably does go bad, I would have repurchased this probably, but you can't anymore. So hopefully one day they do like a vault sale and they bring this back just like they did with the original Naked palette, because I think a lot of people would buy it. I know I would. Yeah, the formula is so easy to use. The colors are like warm neutrals, which just look, and they're yellow toned warm neutrals, which look very good on me because I have yellow undertone warm skin. Honestly, I would give this palette a 9 out of 10. But that's it. I'll have the, I don't know, after pictures on the screen. But that's all I have for you for this month's 2 looks 1 palette video. Well, I guess last month's, this month's the first one. I don't know. But I will see you, hopefully I'll upload the next one in this series actually in October. I'll see you there, and hopefully I'll see you also in my next video. But until then, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.